Hi, this is Sinead from Vivaris Health, and I'm absolutely thrilled to welcome Kim Bradley from the UK. Kim used to live in Oxfordshire, and she moved to Wales late last year, and she has 25 years experience working in health and wellness and 14 years working with Synergy products. And I'm also delighted to welcome Keith Robinson, who has 16 years experience in dealing with Synergy products. And today we're going to discuss what I think is a really important aspect of health and wellness, and that's the DNA Purify Kit that Synergy has. So Kim, I would love for you to share. I know you're pretty much expert in this area, and I'm really looking forward to you sharing some of that expertise and knowledge with us. And thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, the Purify and the DNA test is a really fantastic program. The DNA test itself is nutrigenetics. So nutrigenetics is the science of understanding how your genetic makeup can affect the choices of foods you eat or the supplements you might need, or sort of what your nutritional strengths and weaknesses are. So it's really very fascinating to kind of understand what direction to take your health, especially if you're the type of person who's maybe tried lots of different things in the past, never really felt you was getting anywhere, or perhaps unsure whether it was making a difference. I think
Mhm.
the DNA testing kind of really answers some questions for you, that because your genetics is how you were created. It's how you was built from the genetics of your mom and your dad and your ancestors. So it's a fascinating topic, because once you start to
Yes.
understand that, then you can do a test where you get a book, a really thick and detailed book, which is basically all about you. And then you can
Okay.
really start to take your health up a level with the right information.
Okay. And what's involved in actually taking the DNA test, Kim?
It's really easy. So you take a swab test, just saliva off your gums and the sides of your cheeks, and that gets sent off to a laboratory in Austria where they do genetic testing. I've actually visited the laboratory myself in person. Really super interesting place. And they run the spectrum of tests. 76 different genes are tested that have multiple published medications on them. So this is, over 400 different published medication, published papers are on these particular genes. And it tells you things like what your genetic strengths and weaknesses are. So, for example, are you at risk of eye conditions or diabetes or heart disease or Alzheimer's? Things that are inherited genetic risk factors. And it doesn't mean
Mm.
to say that you're going to get those disease profiles. What it does is it highlights that there's a risk factor there, but also what nutrients you can take more of in your diet to
Mhm.
protect yourself. So an example is in my family we have a strong genetic risk of an eye condition called glaucoma and
Mhm.
degenerative eye health. My dad was registered blind. His mum went blind. His brothers have got poor eyesight. One of my cousins is also the same now. And so I was really interested to know, for example, was that something that I'd inherited?
Yes.
And the answer is yes, I have. So this is my test,
Mhm.
and this tells me my eye health. And just these big arrows represent how much more in my diet I need of certain nutrients, like lots of zinc, lots of vitamin E, lots of beta carotene, for example.
Mhm.
Now, having these genetics doesn't mean that I am going to follow in the same path as my father. I don't have the same lifestyle as my father. I've always looked after myself. I've taken supplements for 14 years. So, our lives are not the same.
Mm.
And this is called epigenetics. It's another science in its own self. where your gene expressions can be switched on or off dependent upon your gut health, which is where that comes into it, or your
Yeah.
lifestyle choices. But I
Hmm.
think it's important to know that, okay, so there is this gene there suppressed,
Yes.
and therefore I can have these extra nutrients in my diet that are going to mitigate any risk factor that I might follow the same path as my father.
Hmm.
So this is where it really opens your eyes.
Yeah.
And then you get 1,000 foods specifically rated to you. Now, this was
Wow.
an interesting one because my son, and he doesn't mind me talking about it, has bowel issues ever since he was very, very young, ever since he was a baby. We very terrible, terrible constipation.
Mhm.
And we went through I didn't know then what I know now. I was a young mother. We went through
Yes.
every doctor, pediatrician, psychologist, you name it. He went through the whole gamut
Hmm.
of the medical service had provided. And all their answer was to give him, lactulose solution and things like that to help his bowels to move. When he was 16, that's when I found out about nutrigenetic testing. And and he would get stomach cramps and all sorts. Immediately, this is something that I think I want us to do as a family. And we discovered that my son and my husband both are gluten intolerant through that test.
Wow.
With my son, it had manifested in all of the gut problems he had. In fact, it manifested in gallbladder issues at
Hmm.
18. Really, I mean, crazy inflammatory problems from the gut. With my husband, it had manifested in his joints, rheumatoid
Hmm.
arthritis-like symptoms, swelling of his joints, gout-like symptoms.
Okay.
So it's fascinating, you see. I mean, no one had offered us a gluten intolerance test. Yet
Imagine.
so many people have these underlying things. I myself found out I was lactose intolerant. Now, this was something I suspected, but I would say I took it very seriously, even though I suspected it, because there was not like a piece of paper that said, yes, you're definitely lactose intolerant. So I would avoid milk products some of the time, and other times at Christmas, a bit of custard,
Hmm.
a bit of ice cream, just like.
Yes.
But just finding out, nailed on, wasn't making it up, wasn't imagining it, I
Mm.
am lactose intolerant. It makes a huge difference, and it gives you more mindfulness.
Yes.
And so this is what we've seen again and again, where people have had a test and realized shellfish doesn't suit them.
Hmm.
And they're like, now that's why I feel bloated and discomfort when I've been eating their mussels or if I've eaten prawns. I
Yeah.
thought there might have been a correlation. And it's caused what I give light bulb moments,
Hmm.
Sinead. That's how I would say it. Light bulb moments where you think, that's why I had this intuition, I had this gut instinct, I had this thought.
Yes.
So it's really, really very good.
Yeah. I suppose it solidifies, doesn't it? Something is a hard fact as opposed to having a feeling that maybe there might be an issue around something, whereas here you have a definitive answer.
You do. You have a definitive answer, but
Yeah.
also the solutions for the answer. And I think
Yes.
that's important because this is not a book about the doom and gloom of your life. This is a book that says, okay, so these targeted nutritional supplements are actually going to make a difference. These foods are actually going to make a difference, so
Hmm.
that you can walk away from the test thinking, okay, I know what course of action to take now.
Yeah. You have an
Even
action
things
plan.
like telling
Yeah.
you whether you how you take up oxygen, for example. So I
Really?
had it tells you what your natural VO2 max is, your oxygen uptake, which is very
Hmm.
important as to
Yeah.
how your body breathes in and distributes that oxygen to your muscles and your cells. And for some people, it can be low. And when it's low, this is where I find it interesting because people can work on their fitness,
Mm.
but then go to climb a steep hill and they're out of breath. And they're
Right.
thinking, "Oh, why am I so out of breath? I thought I was fit."
Yeah.
And it isn't to do with the fitness, it's to do with the oxygen uptake. So then we can
Well,
work with things like vasodilators, things that help
yes.
relax and widen the arteries. It gets more
Mm.
blood circulating around. So you've got a solution to that situation, which means the next time you're deciding to climb up a mountain, as you can do
Yes.
that in Wales, you've got the
Yes.
breath.
Yes. Absolutely. And that's so important. Yeah. Fantastic.
One of the things that I think that is super important in this day and age is your detoxification pathways, because
Hmm.
we're bombarded by toxins all of the time, from the air we
Yeah.
breathe, the foods we eat, the manufacturing processes of our foods, the
Hmm.
stuff we put on our skin, the scented candles we put in our rooms,
Yeah.
literally bombarded. And some
Hmm.
people have a genetic makeup that can really handle these toxins quite well and
Okay.
eliminate them out of the body.
Hmm.
Some people, however, don't have that genetic pathway, and so their body struggles to remove the toxins. And when we struggle to remove the toxins, we cause gut dysbiosis, inflammation, autoimmune function disorders, cancer, and so on and so on and so on. So
Hmm.
therefore, now you're starting to understand, okay, so what can I do to slightly create a less of a toxic environment? Do I need
Yeah.
to eat more organic foods? Do I need to change the way I cook? Do I need to da da da?
Yeah.
And also, what does my body need to support the removal of any toxins that I currently have? Any heavy
Hmm.
metals I currently have? Any plastics and pollutants and stuff?
Yeah.
It's a
Absolutely.
joyful experience when you have this test and then
Yeah.
you discover all of these hidden treasures about yourself.
Mm. And absolutely. And as we said, it guides you then into the steps you need to take to either, optimize your health or help you recover from an illness that you're trying to cope with.
Yeah, I say it takes the guesswork out of getting fit and healthy.
Yeah.
That's how I do it. It takes the guesswork out because your actual body will come forward with some information that it needs.
Yes. Yeah. That's a nice way of putting it. All right, Kim.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. And then the that works in conjunction with the Purify Kit, which is
Yes, it does. The
mhm,
Purify Kit is a fantastic program. And the thing I like about it is that the Purify program is a 21-day full gut reset program.
mhm,
So if you're doing it in conjunction with a DNA test, it takes about roughly 4 weeks to get your results, maybe six at maximum, but often 4 weeks. So you can send your swabs off, and whilst you're waiting, you can elevate your gut. And then your gut, has the capacity to change so much, so
mhm.
much. It's the way you metabolize your food, it's the way you absorb your food. It's not just the breaking down, it's the absorption.
Yeah.
It's healing the intestinal lining and making sure your intestinal lining is healthy, reducing all your bad bacteria, building up your good ones.
Yeah.
It has the capacity to elevate every aspect of your body, your immune
Mhm.
health, your skin health, your brain health, your everything. So
Yeah.
whilst you're waiting for your genetic test, you're sorting your gut out.
Okay.
Everybody needs to sort their gut out in this day and age.
Absolutely.
And soon after your you've finished that, your test results come back. And
Okay.
then you're into more of a maintenance side where
Hmm.
you can have targeted maintenance based upon your genetics. So it
Okay.
makes it a really good program to put together because you've sorted out your gut and now you're into maintenance, but you're in a maintenance of things that are appropriate to you specifically,
Okay.
not just everybody, but you specifically.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Purify program is a phenomenal program.
Hmm. And um we might have a quick discussion of what's included in the Purify pack, Kim. So there's the tub of the biome shake.
Yes, that's right. You have 5 targeted supplements that you're
Hmm.
taking during the 21 days.
Yeah.
So you're eating from a foods list as well. It's not just supplements. You've got a specific doctor-designed foods list that supports gut health. It's a high
Hmm.
phytonutrient, high protein, low carbohydrate diet plan. There's recipe tips and all sorts of things that you can have so that you know what to eat. And alongside the diet, you have 5 targeted supplements. So
Mm.
Biome Shake is one, which is a protein shake that you have for 7 of the 21 days.
Yes.
And what Biome Shake does is it's like food for you, the human. It's got lots of vitamins and minerals in it, and
Yeah.
it's food for your good bacteria. It's got lots of fibers in it.
Okay.
And the compounds within it, the fibrous material within it, helps to rebuild what we call the mucus lining. So inside your intestines, on the wall of the intestines is a mucus lining that should be healthy, fresh, and strong. And
Yeah.
your healthy bacteria live in the mucus. They don't live in the middle of the space. They live
Yeah.
on the walls, and they are protecting the intestinal integrity of your gut. They're digesting the foods you eat. They're keeping the bad guys out.
Yeah.
They're because the bad guys will basically want to strip away that mucosal lining. The bad
Yes.
guys do damage to the mucosal lining. The sugar and other such foods do damage to the mucosal lining. So having gluten when you're gluten intolerant would do damage to the lining, for example.
Yes.
Biome Shake for 7 days is food for you, food for the bacteria, and rebuilding the mucosal lining in your intestines. Then you have a product, Proarginine, which is your vasodilator. This is the
Hmm.
one that boosts your circulation. And
Yeah.
circulation is absolutely integral to everything.
Yeah.
Obviously, if your gut needs to start making some repairs, you're going to need circulation into your gut. And you've got
Absolutely.
your thousands and thousands of miles of blood vessels that feed your gut,
Yeah.
as well as repairing the gut and obviously the rest of your body as a result. When you're eating your foods, you're eating your gut-friendly foods, and your diet is clean and nutritious.
Hmm.
The food that's broken down can leave the gut and be distributed to the parts of your body where you need it. And that's what absorption is. It's absorbing the nutrients and then
Hmm.
having the circulatory pathways to deliver the nutrients.
Yeah.
So it's really, really important. And I think a lot of people can do detoxes or gut programs, but if they
Yes.
haven't got a circulatory booster, you're pretty much wasting your time and your money.
Mm. That's very interesting, actually, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. It really is
Yeah.
because the circulation is key to everything.
Yeah.
So this is an integral part of the program. Then we have a nice green drink for you, packed full
Yes.
of green goodness, broccoli and all sorts of cruciferous vegetables in there. And this is what we call the big detoxer, Biome DT, the big
Hmm.
detoxer. And
Yeah.
this is the one that helps to draw out the heavy metals, the chemicals, the plastics, the so on and so on, and
Yeah.
draw them out and binds them with the fiber that's in it, lots of soluble fiber for extraction out of the bowels.
Yeah.
So your body senses that now is the time I can start letting go of some of this backlog,
Hmm.
because you've got the circulation to draw it out, and you've got the green cruciferous vegetables and the soluble fiber to start holding on to this toxins and drawing it out the body.
Yeah.
And it also has another amino acid, L-glutamine, in it. And L-glutamine is been well documented for helping to heal any signs of leaky gut that might be going on. So where you've had mucosal damage in your intestines, you've probably got like tiny weeny perforations.
Yeah.
And these perforations allow undigested foods to go into the bloodstream. They allow endotoxins, which is a toxin that your bad bacteria create. They allow those to go into the bloodstream, and this can set up havoc in the body, inflammation in the body.
Yeah.
So we need to repair that intestinal lining, and this
Hmm.
is very integral to that. So this is detoxing and intestinal repair. And then you have a magnesium supplement, Body Prime. Now,
Yeah.
it's not just magnesium, it has apple pectin and prune powder, and these are superb probiotics for the large intestine and the colon.
Okay.
And magnesium is a relaxant. So magnesium allows the body to come out of stress. It's really good for heart health. It's good for muscle aches and pains, joint health. Magnesium is an absolutely essential mineral that
Yeah.
most of us are potentially deficient in through fruits and vegetables these days.
Yeah.
So your body just sucks up magnesium. It just loves it. And in terms of the program, magnesium helps the body to eliminate your poos better, basically, so that your
Yeah.
body can flush properly and cleanly every day. Um,
Okay.
it amazes me how many people do not go to toilet every day.
Yeah.
So, in order for your body to extract some of the damage that's been happening in the chemicals,
Mm.
you need a good, clean bowel movement, and immediately your energy starts to go up once that starts to happen.
Okay.
And then we have the
Excellent.
fifth one is your probiotics, but it's
Yes.
probiotic and prebiotics in a lovely, it's like imagine a bacteria with a rucksack of its own food. It's carrying its own lunchbox into your intestines.
It's a great
So
analogy.
it's a probiotic and a prebiotic. And this is a spore-forming bacteria, Bacillus coagulans, and it's superb because it survives anything. It can be heated. You could put it on your meal and cook it in the oven, and it would still survive. Survives the gut, stomach acid environment 100%. And it's what we call a community bacteria, which means that it helps to repopulate your intestines, but
Hmm.
it provides a food called lactic acid, which is a food that your gut needs to feed the other bacteria that are helpful in your gut. So it kind of comes in as a team player. Imagine that.
Okay.
It's coming
Yeah.
in with a lunchbox as a team player to say, I'm going to help all you other different species, because we
Yeah.
have thousands of species in our gut. I'm going to help
Hmm.
all other species thrive and survive as well.
Okay.
So very important bacteria to put into your gut. So altogether, your dietary changes, which start to clean up things, exercise
Yes.
the diet as well, moderate exercise, 20
Yeah.
to 30 minutes of brisk walking, 3 to 5 times a week, because movement obviously gets things joggling along, it gets your bowels joggling along, it gets your
Yes.
circulation joggling along. So, very important to have movement in there as well if you can.
Yeah.
Uh, and then the supplements creates a holistic program.
Yeah.
And then obviously we have like accountability and community support and so on, or one-to-one support throughout so that you are successful with the program.
Yes. Yeah. Which is obviously what we want. We want people to be successful. We want them to make the progress and see the benefits to their health and energy levels, as you say, so absolutely the support is so important. So that's thanks for all of the technical information, Kim. That's been wonderful. And I it would be great to hear some stories in terms of, what, you know, some of what your experience has been of people, overcoming various issues.
Absolutely. Well, I think there are so many benefits to doing the
Hmm.
program. I think a lot of people approach it for weight loss.
Hmm.
And I always say to people, it isn't a weight loss program per se, but in our fat cells are a lot of toxins that we're holding on to, that your body has been storing up in your fat, sort of not able to release them, if you like.
Yeah.
And you are now creating the right environment for your body to let go of that fat. So
Yes.
we see on average 5 to 15 pounds of weight loss in the
Right.
majority. But it's important to know that people who don't need to lose weight at all can still happily do the program. And
Hmm.
we've seen people who have a lot of weight to lose, particularly men, it seems. They tend to
Yes.
move the weight easier. But I mean, I've seen people lose as much as 20, 26 pounds even in 3 weeks. But this is in a
Really.
very safe way, because this is about your body saying, I'm ready to release these toxins that are being held in these fat cells. So it's
Yeah.
more letting go of what your body is ready to not have, to let go of, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
Weight is huge. Hormones, all
Okay.
sorts of hormones. Obviously, people think a lot of menopausal women,
Hmm.
brain fog, not night sweats,
Okay.
weight gain, all sorts of things that happen when we go through the menopause. Having been through it myself, but
Yes.
very well, very nicely, actually. So hormonal balance is key. So
Right.
your hormones can balance out. So whether it's for menopause, or whether it's for your monthly, your general monthly,
Hmm.
there's a lot of people report huge changes in
Yeah.
mood, their mindset, um, the night sweats,
Yeah.
falling away, the brain clearing up of
Yes.
mental clarity, but also lifting depression, because like
Really.
so, yeah,
Yeah.
your gut bacteria is part of what's called your endocrine system, and that's the system that controls your chemical balances in your body.
Yes.
So your gut has a huge role to play. So in terms of
Mm.
boosting your serotonin, your happy hormone, and
Yes.
boosting melatonin, your sleep hormone.
Yeah.
So people often say that they sleep like they've never slept before, like a real proper deep sleep, and feel therefore, wake up even before the alarm goes off, feeling refreshed. So rather than waking up feeling groggy-eyed, waking up button
Hmm.
awake, feeling,
Right.
you
Feeling
know,
energized.
energized, exactly.
Yeah. Brilliant. Because sleep is a big, big issue for an awful lot of people at this stage, I think. I hear it from people. So that's very interesting that a gut reset could be so beneficial to getting a good night's sleep. I
Indeed.
didn't really know that, so that's great to know.
It's good to know. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And so many disease profiles have a metabolic dysfunction basis, or an inflammation basis. So whether
yeah,
it's arthritis or a skin condition, or digestive disorders, or um, what else, like immune problems, where you're sort of struggling with your immune health. A
yes.
lot of them come from this basis of uh, like a dysfunction of your metabolic syndromes, and it's called like a continuum of health. So our daily choices
Hmm.
compound over time, which can cause metabolic dysfunction, or we can change our daily choices and compound
Hmm.
it in a positive way over time towards optimal health. We're
Yes.
all on this continuum. So
Mm.
our aim is changing that bar, moving the bar towards optimal health, which is
Yes.
the best health your body can provide for you,
Hmm.
uh, you know, based upon your circumstances.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think if people have sort of got any kind of disease profile and they're sort of thinking, I just don't know where to start, then,
Hmm.
you know, either do the purify with the genetic test, or even just to
Yes.
do the purify, will start seeing results.
Right. Yeah. Excellent. Thanks, Kim. Keith, what about you? What have you some stories about what some of your clients have achieved with their Purify program?
Well, to start, just to reiterate the bit about the cleansing when you do purify, I remember looking at what came out, and I reckon I have never eaten that. There's definitely a big clear out when you start doing that. From a weight perspective, there was a lady local to me here who had actually put on quite a lot of weight over a few years, and then decided she would do different diets. And she said, as she said herself, every time I finished a diet, I ended up heavier than when I started.
Yeah.
So she was actually up at an event we did in Dublin some many moons ago, and she says, I never realized about the gut purify and what part that would play and everything. So she did a gut reset, and over the 3 months, she actually lost 4 stone and 10 pounds weight, 66
Oh my
pounds,
God. 4
without any
stone, 10
effort,
pounds.
without any
Wow.
effort, and continued to lose weight afterwards because she had the gut reset.
Yes.
And because your cravings change,
Yeah.
the running of information between the gut and the brain through the vagus nerve, there's a different, when you have the good bacteria back into control, you have that sending messages to the brain, and that's where your cravings are coming from. So when you're looking for that chocolate and sugary, sticky stuff,
All the wrong
that
stuff.
bacteria is in control at that point. So
Yes.
you have to change
Yeah.
government.
Yeah.
There was a lady I was helping once with a condition called lupus, and
Yeah.
I started her off on the V3 first to see how she would go on that, and then 3 months later we did a gut reset at that point. But by the end of the 6-month period, she was flying it. I mean, her inflammation figures in her bloods were showing at 18 when I met her first. Her inflammation in her blood 6 months later was 0.6. So
Wow.
that was a complete turnaround. And
Mm, and you can imagine the difference in quality of life in
oh,
that six
I mean,
months.
she completely got her life back. I mean, it was her
Yeah.
father that asked me to meet up with her, and just she actually moved with her boyfriend to Australia because
Right.
she always wanted to, but was never well enough to. When I met her
Yeah.
first, her mother had to help her take her coat off when she got home from teaching each day. She was in that much pain.
Imagine.
So I mean, this is a lady that got her life back. And
Yeah.
there was a lady in Dublin. Now, I wasn't personally on the case, but one of my team was that I was advising in the background, and she was HIV positive, very
Hmm.
weak, very bloated, not in great order at all. And in order to give her some sort of remnants of energy back and start her on the road, they did V3 first for 3 months, and then a gut
Hmm.
reset. And when a week after starting gut reset, she did have more blood tests, and that actually showed that the viral count in her body had halved.
Wow.
And 3 months later, continuing Purify and microbiome friendly foods, the next
Yeah.
blood test she saw, and I saw the paperwork myself, underneath where it said viral count, it said undetectable.
Wow.
Wow.
So her body
That's
solved the problem.
wow. And that's the beauty, I have to say, and that's the passion that I have for the Synergy products, is that
Mhm.
the standards and the quality is just exceptional.
Mhm.
And these are the results that we can see when the body is provided with the conditions to heal itself. Isn't that what it comes down to, really?
100%.
100%.
Absolutely.
The body is an absolute miracle worker. It,
Yeah.
it, it strives to heal itself every single day. It
Yeah.
strives to live every single day. It performs a phenomenal task for
Yeah.
us every day. And
Yeah.
then when we start to give it those really, I mean, the nutrients are so clean in the supplements that they're cleaner than you could buy in a shop. You know,
Yeah.
they don't have pesticides, herbicides, fungicides. They are absolutely clean, pristine fruits and
Yeah.
vegetables, and that are used in the supplements. And so your body senses that. To me, I mean, I work with energy, so as well. And
Yeah.
they're it's a high vibrational stuff, is how I've
Yes.
always seen it. And I know I work with lots of kinesiologists and nutritionists, and they all say
Hmm.
that, this is a high vibrational products, and your body will senses that, and it
Yeah.
literally soaks it all up like a sponge. And then you allow your body's innate intelligence to
Yes.
start to solve what it can solve. And sometimes people go into the program thinking, I want it to do that. But
Yes.
your body said, actually, no, this is going to be a priority for me right now. I'm actually
Yes.
going to sort this out. And so you have to, give space for your body to decide what it wants to work
Prioritize.
on. But
Yeah.
with either starting with the V3 and then moving on to Purify, or doing Purify and then having a couple of months of gut maintenance program,
Yes.
so that you give space. You got to give
Yeah.
time, you got to have patience, especially if you've been
Exactly.
carrying something around for 20, 30 years, in some cases.
Yes. The issues didn't arise overnight, and so they're not going to be resolved overnight either. That's,
Yeah.
and but I do think that that's really important, that people are realistic about that, and that they're prepared to give it. I mean, in fairness, what is 21 days in the scheme of, going a long way to restore your health? It's nothing.
It's a massive kickstart, is what it is. And I think we
Yeah.
are in a world where people like to see results quickly. I understand
Yes.
that entirely. Of course we do. So I think doing something like the gut reset is about having some quick wins,
Yeah.
having some energy back, having clearer focus and thinking and sleep, lifestyle changes, as you said, like how you
Yeah.
turn up in the world. So you start getting some quick wins, and then
Mm.
you've got the the right mindset and energy to
Yeah.
continue the health journey. Like the
Yes.
lady was describing, that was a journey. It was a journey.
Yeah.
We've had
Absolutely.
people that have had chronic high blood pressure, for example, for years and years and years, been on all manner of medications and so on, um, and it takes time, but your body can solve a lot of things if you
Yes.
actually give it the space and time to do it. So,
And the right nutrition.
and the right nutrition, exactly, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you both very sincerely. This has been a pleasure, and I feel this information is so important to get out to people. I mean, improved sleep, improved energy levels, sorting out gut issues, sorting out health issues. I mean, goodness, like what's not to look at and to try. It's wonderful. So thank you both, and we'll chat again about some other topic.